The United Nations was founded to prevent World War III, as Islam's track record portrays. Elon, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what else you've done besides hang out with child molesting KKK cocksuckers. But you're going to have to just take my word for it, okay? Trust me, buddy. If you really want to, if you really want to go all the way with this thing, just say word. I wake up in the morning and I spit trillions. If it was supposed to be secret, shouldn't have been so obvious. Like it's illegal to be smarter than you. Way to set the bar, District of Columbine. Where was I? So if you want to just take America down, like you don't think there's any way to fix this, or you think it's God's law that everything just stays a certain level of fucked up forever, I suggested on DeviantArt, NDS80, that you might have the technology to help me fix the planet, but you would rather watch it explode from Mars. Was I right? Do you have a right to speak to it? That's what I am fighting against. Any reason you would not, other than your religion being wrong. The Boers have been oppressed on false premise by the invocation of Hindu custom for protection from India, which takes a strictly pacifist, non-interventionist policy via Gandhi, who is not Hindu. Idiot grandmasters, we've been through 2 world wars, which might have been avoided, but not for a toothless tiger. The Saudis, founded 1923, 5 years after the fall of the Ottoman throne. Anyway, if there is one among you who is brave enough to dare grasp at the arcane straws of my train of thought, just raise your hand or blink twice if it's a hostage situation. Not exactly my forte. Trying to, the ideas are here. I'm not used to being the only one. So anyway, why was JFK assassinated, and by who? Was Charles de Gaulle a terrorist, or was it this same kind of bullshit messing with his phones? Because first, do no harm, prods. First, do no harm. Otherwise, if I can't afford to rape all of you by myself, a well-placed car bomb might do the trick. Geneva Convention was used to lure us, to lead us by the hand, to seduce us into coming to the table with these heretical, flat earth, desert wizards with, it's not a religion. They fight us because they're scared. They think we're there for their women, because that's why they fight with each other. But they're because you're idiots. Islam recognizes no distinction between church or state. And if you're not familiar with this concept, please find a grown-up, somebody with some skin in the game, someone who's heard this before, because if they don't acknowledge church and state, well, how can they expect the state to protect it? Islam does not qualify as a religion because the existence of a church implies separation from the state, or we wouldn't have a word for it. And I know historicity is not infallible on this, but Socrates proved a point. I know all the rules. I know the main, basic, minimal rules to qualify a religion for purposes of it, if it should be considered for protection across geopolitical boundaries. Islam should not. Wall Street. I know it's lucrative letting them just terrorize and rape and kidnap and ransom each other to seize control of the world's most precious resources for pennies on the dollar, but we pay for it in other ways, which aren't worth the cost. For instance, uh, Jews have rite of passage, that bar mitzvah, before you are legally accountable for engaging in contract. Islam, since it doesn't require marriage or anything like that, it can just convert you by the sword, torture you, rape you, own you. Throughout history, major technological advances are coincidental to or followed by periods of chaos where Islam steals our technology, our resources, our authority, and bludgeons us with it until we forgive them, which means we join them, bludgeoning people with it. It should be enough for most red-blooded Americans. I mean, Europeans, Baptists, you love Jesus? Okay, Islam is a threat to civilization. It doesn't matter what color you're. To them, the color of your skin represents a price tag. Anyone sophisticated and rational and educated in the customs knows that it's all about being a slave of the prophet or the infidel. Okay, that's our king right there. I'm his slave. You can be like me. Just submit. Otherwise, you don't like it. All right. The little blonde kids are the Christians, and the black ones are the Muslims, because you're the Muslim, not me. Muslims are crazy. So all these separate and distinct Muslim countries in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, these are different Muslim. How are they? They don't recognize separation of church and state. How do they recognize a geopolitical boundary? The United Nations is a platform for the Reich. I know what you're thinking. We destroy the Reich. The Nazis. There'll never be another one. But historical pattern analysis would indicate otherwise. See, the First Reich lasted 600 years. The Second Reich was, I don't want to offend anybody. The Protestant Reformation, 1453. It doesn't matter if they're offended. They're not going to like it anyway. Whether they're called Protestants. They complain. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's about a decade after the end of the American Civil War, the Ku Klux Klan is founded. And that is well before at least 50 some years before the fall of the Ottoman Empire. So it depends if you believe that the KKK is still here or not. It depends if you want to make America great again. I mean, I don't know how great you think Donald Trump. I mean, these are all his bankruptcies. You think he did that for the white race? They gave Idi Amin control of Scotland, which it was a Protestant country anyway. So they just cut each other's throats. Elon Musk's tribe, the Boers in South Africa, have suffered oppression for over 100, about 120 years, right? And these people just go where the money is. They don't have a real religion. They think the Bible is an instruction manual for God. Like, you can be God too, but our God is omnipotent and eternal. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to just accept my fate as imminent in numerous occasions and just stomp Nazi ass. No offense to the Germans. I mean, I carry a cross for the German Catholics. It just happens to be against the German Protestants. We have our ways too, yeah? Divine authority is subject to certain... You don't lie to the Pope, act like I'm obligated to forgive it. Examine, if you will, my track record. So, I understand that there's been some misunderstandings and that we're not allowed to talk directly because plausible deniability. I wanted plausible deniability for the CIA, not for you. Unless, are you the CIA? Langley, you hanging out with the North American Man Boy Love Association in San Francisco? CIA. I think I found your protected source, Washington. Elon Musk the whole time. How's he know so much about me, though? What do you want to do? You want to sue him or just swallow it? I try to help Mitt Romney recover. You see, I'm a diplomat at heart, Elon. I've always been first, do no harm, and then don't lose. I try to live my life in such a way. All I ever wanted was right and fair and best for everyone. And very recently, I was made aware that I had homos and fucking retards following me around the whole time. So what do you want to do? My musky Protestant boar friend. You want to try and help your people with the opulent military strategic hegemony of my flock? Are you motivated by love of flock, Elon? Do you have anything worth fighting for? Is there any reason that my money is worth more in your hand? I did not choose AWOL, Washington. A direct hand was taken to bring about circumstances under the mistaken impression that I could be demonstrably linked to the retail distribution of nose candy. And I have never sold the hard shit for money. Furthermore, no rationally demonstrable link will be made between me and the distribution of cocaine anywhere, ever. I know what you're thinking. How's that even possible? How are you gonna fund a campaign? It's never been on my bucket list. I know what happened, even though I attended a birthday party with them after that, and they didn't say anything to me. Ample opportunity. Did they know? I have to carry their cross until there has to be closure, Washington. Is that a problem, me talking about it? Now you can't. Is there like a grace period before you can do the responsible thing? You want me to just let Elon handle it? You want to take him down? Just put the kibosh on this puppy once and for all? I have suggestions. I mean, I don't want to say commands because I don't want you sitting there like, I don't know if that's conducive to my margins. Because if I give you the command, before I start giving you commands, I need some people who follow orders in case you don't. You know, I roll solo. I tell stories. I try to delineate. Make it clear whether they are fact or opinion, fiction or not. But we were not negotiating. In fact, I had a suspicion for a long time that they just already had the information via Y2K, AOL, and they were just looking for somebody to dump it on. I had no reason to believe it was me, who in their right minds would think I had NORAD clearance, Pentagon clearance, Quantico clearance. Oh, it didn't go through Quantico. See, this is espionage, Washington. Are you afraid of setting a precedent? Because I have other rules, things that we're not going to be doing from now on. Am I supposed to fund our campaign? Washington. You don't like the things that I say. They're expensive. You should hear the things I don't say.